what it is based off of what philosophers and historians have talked about. And then we'll, at the end of the episode, we'll usually ask kind of speculative questions about what it means for humanity or for us as individuals. So really, and that's to me like what your dad was saying. That's what I do every week. Is you'll take one word and you say, well, what's in one word? And then you start exploring it, and before you realize it, you go, there's no way in a whole hour I could talk about everything that's important about this one word, and it just really kind of opens your eyes to how amazing life is.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Well, what a creative life you're living. I think it's wonderful. And I think any of us could be inspired by that and by you to just kind of allow ourselves to keep exploring and keep paying attention and keep allowing things to unfold. And as you said beautifully, you haven't failed until you stop. If you,
Yeah,
you haven't failed until you stop.
right.
And I
Exactly.
think, one area where many of us could take that on board is the area of relationships. I know people, I'm in my 60s now. I know people who are in their 60s who've decided that they failed at relationships and that's it. They're not going to have to do any more. And then I know people in their 80s or 90s who've stayed open, stayed connecting, and now actually found the holy grail of the experience that they want in a relationship. And
Yeah.
people, and it's these particularly areas that mean a lot to us emotionally and spiritually and psychologically. It's perhaps easier for us to think, oh well, no, that's it. I just can't do it. It's a failure.
Yeah, and I think that comes back to what I was talking about earlier about, if you're scared of failing, it's easier to just write off the whole thing, right? But it's disingenuous, right? Because humans are social creatures, right? Even somebody like me, who you might not know it from being on a podcast, but I'm an extreme introvert. Like I don't talk to anybody. And so what my friends like to say is that um, introverts don't make friends, they just get adopted by extroverts, right? So I've been adopted by extroverts, right? My best friend and my wife are very outgoing people. Every girlfriend I've ever had asked me out, right? So I like being in my room. I like doing things on my own. I don't want to be going, involved with a lot of stuff. Um, but still, I need social interaction, right? I need relationships. I need friends and a spouse and that sort of thing. So you put in the work for it, right? And it's not always easy, especially when you're so busy with other stuff. To make sure that everybody is getting all the attention they deserve, especially when they're a bunch of extroverts. But it's important. It is important, So yeah, it's easy to give up and say, okay, well, I'm just not a people person. No, everybody's a people person. It doesn't change the fact that we all have a different approach to how we view people or how we deal with them. But we all do have to deal with them, and we all do need them to survive. So you need to find a way that works for you and for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Well, let's just remind people where to find your podcast, which is jbouchard.podbean.com. And Bouchard is Bouchard. So a couple of questions I like to ask, Joel, before we finish. And one of them is,